It's been the start of a school year, extremely difficult school year. I want to thank the parents, the students, of course, our dedicated staff, this board, for the commitment to education and this health and safety for the students during this extremely difficult school year in the last 9 months. We are now all virtual. We are absolutely doing everything we can to ensure our students are receiving the best virtual instruction possible. So again, I just want to thank everyone.
Yes, Steve Young here, Atlantic City. I want to get to October the 13th, the last meeting. When I spoke to the board, there were several issues that was brought before the board and questions that was asked. Matter of fact, there were 6 of them. I was told by then by the solicitor that these questions will be answered. They have not received no answers to that. And the issues I'm talking about is the incident that happened in the school district with Mr. Frazier. And the question was asked was, how was he able to be hired in the district without a thorough background check, according to the policy? Is he related to any staff or elected officials, according to the Administrative Code of Ethics? How many children was affected by the situation, according to the policy cooperation between parents and school? Did they receive any professional help or counseling, according to the policy number 3159? How and when was the parents in the district notified that their child may have been a victim in this situation, according to policy number 3159? Teaching staff members, school district reporting responsibilities, NJSA 6A9B 43. And when was the Board of Superintendent or staff notified of these activities? Atlantic City Board of Board Policy number 9130. I'm going to be very blunt about this. I'm going to be very consistent. Those who know me, I will be consistent until there's some answers. So therefore, I'm asking the board to give me some answers. Ms. Rowley did speak about that she would forward some answers to me of what she can give. I have not received anything to date, so would appreciate that. And I understand there is the investigators on the line, or anyone can answer those questions. We'll appreciate it, or we can set up another time and date to do so. Can we get some answers to some of the questions, please?
Yeah, Mr. Young, this is Al Herbert. I just heard the questions he asked, and obviously I can't answer them directly. We did bring on, I believe in the November meeting, we agreed to bring on legal counsel in order to complete an administrative investigation. What I'm asking is if you could just type those 6 questions, and maybe there are some that Ms. Riley can answer at this stage, but if you could just send those 6 questions in an email to the board secretary, and that would be A as in Apple, A Brown @acboe.org, and she will probably forward them to Ms. Riley and also the firm that is handling the administrative investigation. And because I'm not an attorney and I don't want to speak out of hand, I can't answer any of those questions, but I'm sure that one of those 2 will. And if for some reason neither of them get back to you in a timely manner, or you're not satisfied, feel free to to reach out to any of us, and we'll stay on top of them as well.
Well, really concerned about the time frame, because we're talking about something over a year, and some of these things that we're asking for is basically about policy about the board. So I'm very curious about what's the time frame of getting some answers.
So I can tell you that I don't want to make a promise I can't keep, but I can guarantee you that one of the 2, either Ms. Riley or the other firm, will get you some response before the next meeting, and I will talk to them after the meeting or in closed session just on the details and stuff like that as to whether or not what they can and can't answer at this point.
Well, right? Do you happen to know what's the time frame on this investigation, if so?
I encourage you to keep us all accountable, and we'll do our best to get you the answers that you need.
Well, thank you very much. I'm just concerned about the children that may have been contacted or not contacted through this, and the parents that know or do not know. And that's a very big concern right now to the safety of our children.
Absolutely. I completely understand your concern. I'm just as concerned myself, and we're going to do our due diligence on this, I promise. All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You have the right to speak. And anybody else out there that didn't sign up, feel free. This is public portion. Ms. Hyman, it's all yours.
Okay, the question I have, hello everyone, by the way.
Hi, Ms. Hyman.
Hi. The question I have is, has the board advertised for superintendent position yet?
Ms. Hyman, can you just stand by 1 second? Dr. McCartney, the consultant that we used to do a superintendent search, is on the line. He can answer that for you directly, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. McCartney, if the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I'd be delighted to speak to that point. The board introduced me at a meeting, and that meeting was back in October, and I provided an entire listing of dates and activities that I would be entertaining in pursuit of helping the board hire a new superintendent. Now, one should remember that when Mr. Caldwell announced his retirement, he did so at a public board meeting, and that was televised. When the board hired me as a consultant, that was on the agenda and approved at a public meeting. I appeared at a public meeting and I detailed the proposal that listed that we would begin advertisement on October 11th, that it would close on November 13th, that we would publish the opening in a variety of ways. We published it with NewJersey.com. We published it with the Superintendent's Association, NJASA. We published it on the career placement centers of 13 universities in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area that produce ed leadership candidates. I wrote to superintendents throughout the state. And then I began to contact individual groups. I contacted a number of individual groups in the Atlantic City region, indicating to them that we had an electronic survey posted on the Atlantic City website. That's a website I'm sure every administrator looks at on a regular basis. That website sought information about what you were looking for in the next superintendent, so it would be easy to ascertain that there was an opening. On top of that, I contacted a number of key people, one of whom was the person who was the president of the Principals and Supervisors Association in Atlantic City. That would be Shelley Williams. I contacted Shelley and indicated that I'd be delighted to have a Zoom meeting or calls from any of the members of that association. I provided my cell phone number and offered a Zoom call. Ms. Williams responded to me by saying that she would pass my email along to her membership. I'm going to guess that all the principals and all the supervisors in Atlantic City are members. Now, keep in mind that I offered a couple of key dates. I said that the advertisement for the opening occurred on October 11th. It closed on November 13th. And right smack in the middle of that time period was when I exchanged emails with Shelley Williams, the president of the association. That was on October 28th. I've sent that email to the board president. And on top of that, the board president wrote a letter that pulled together all the facts that I just discussed and sent that to everybody who asked about whether or not this position was posted. I know that our director of HR is in the meeting tonight, and she could very easily tell you that she is the only person in the district that can post internal postings. And so she inquired about whether this was posted, but she knew very well that it wasn't because she didn't post it, and she's the only one that could do that. But I do think that that it's important that everybody be a candidate that wanted to be a candidate. Obviously, we had a time frame, and I was in the business of enlisting as many interested candidates as possible. So I'm not sure how anybody would have missed it, but they're the individual actions that were taken to make sure that anybody and everybody that was interested could apply. We had almost 600 respondents on the electronic survey, members of the community, and overwhelmingly over 300 of those respondents were employees of the Atlantic City School District. So I'm sure among those respondents to the electronic survey on the district website were some administrators. And on top of that, we did have some administrators who applied. So, Mr. President, that's the story in a nutshell. And I'm delighted to be able to put this issue to some kind of conclusion by issuing the facts.
When was Shelley Williams notified to let her union members be aware of this? You said you notified Shelley Williams. When did that occur?
Yeah, as I said earlier in my comments, it happened right smack in the middle of this process, October 28th. And I have a copy of the email that I sent and a copy of her response, and I'm sure she does as well. And I know that she's indicated to you and to many others those
She didn't
facts.
say anything to me, sir.
Well,
all right, we're not going to, excuse me,
I
Doc.
have an email that she sent to all the principals and supervisors. I have it in front of me right now, and it lists those dates.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. Ms. Brown, is there anybody else signed up for public portion? I believe there's other people out there who would like to speak. They didn't sign up. Now's your time.
Well, I'm not finished yet, Mr. Devlin.
I know, Ms. Hyman, we're not going to have a debate here.
I'm not debating. I have questions.
Ms. Hyman, if you have questions, this isn't the time for, stand by a second. Let me speak because this is really hard because we're virtual, okay? I'll give you the time to make a comment. He answered your comment. We're not going to have it go back and forth 100 times.
I don't have a comment. I have a question.
Okay, this isn't the time for that, ma'am. It's public comment.
John, just let her get her questions on the record at least. Let her at least, even if you can't answer them now, let her at least say her piece and get her questions on the record.
Very good. You have 3 minutes again,
Ms. Hyman. Thank you. My question is, it appears to some people that this information wasn't provided to them and that only certain people receive this information. Is there any chance that the interview process can be extended so those who now know about it can at least interview?
John, would you like me to answer that?
Ms. Hyman, why don't you ask all your questions and put them on the record? And Mr. McCartney, I'm sure you'll be happy to answer them. So please ask all your questions now.
That's one question, because it's apparent to me and to other administrators that they weren't aware that this was even advertised. So you're saying you posted all this in all these different various areas and no one knew about it. I mean, I find that awful strange. And my question is, can it be reopened and let other people interview? I mean, because I know you guys already know who you're going to hire, but at least let other people interview that are interested. That's the only question, or that's the only request that I have. Thank you.
I don't know, Doctor, if you want to respond to that, that's fine. If not,
I will. Obviously, I am the consultant. I'm not the president of the board, but I will say this without repeating myself. We've made this very, very apparent to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who did respond via the website. It was on the website. It has been announced at a public board meeting, which is televised. I appeared at a public board meeting and went over all the dates, and I'm going to guess any and all administrators either attend the board meetings or follow them virtually or read the board minutes. All of my comments are in the board minutes, and I take great, great exception to any comment that suggests that this was unknown to anybody. This was known to anybody who wanted to know. The board begins with the end in mind. The position will be vacated as of June 30th. And so we began with that date in mind and worked backwards to get to the point of when we would advertise, when we would conduct screening, when we would host interviews. And we've done all of that. And I don't know who the final candidate is going to be. You seem to suggest that you know. I don't know that. I don't believe the board knows that because they haven't concluded all the interviews. But I would say this, that anybody who is paying attention to what's going on in the district, certainly any employee, would have known there was a process, and if they had any questions, could have asked in a timely fashion. I would ask that Mr. Devlin ask the board secretary to check who Shelley Williams sent that email to, because it does say principals and supervisors. And I would be interested in knowing if Ms. Hyman is listed among those people, and if the email records of the district show that she did receive it and open it.
Well, let me chime in.
That concludes my
because I think you have the Hymans. I think you're referring, I'm Dr. Hyman. Hi, Dr. McCartney. That's my mother. That's not me. It's two different people, two different Hymans. I just want to put that on the record. I think you're thinking that Juanita Hyman is Lakeisha Hyman. She's retired from the district. So I just want to put that on record. And I just wanted to make a quick comment since it is the comment question. Thank you, President Devlin, for allowing us to speak. I am one of those district administrators who did not know that the process was completed. I did receive the survey in an email from Shelley Williams, but there was no posting with it or indication that the process had already begun and it was soon to close. So I will put that on record. Thank you.
Ms. Brown, do you have anybody else for public comment that didn't sign up there?
John, am I allowed to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Just put your name on the record, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Shelley Williams. I'm the person that we're referring to who received the email. On 10/28, I received the email from you, Dr. McCartney, at 11 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, I responded. I am a principal, so I wasn't sitting at my desk to get it. At 2:40, I forwarded to the constituents of my bargaining unit. But prior to that, I responded to you, thanking you for the opportunity to give us a chance to be a part of the selection process. And I said to you in that email, which I also have a copy and have forwarded to all of my members, that I would encourage everyone to participate in the survey. You did mention in your email that your telephone number and a possible Zoom meeting. I never said to you that we did not want a Zoom meeting. No one responded that they wanted it further. I sent them the exact email that you sent. So I take a little bit of offense to make the statement that I said I did not want a Zoom meeting. That's not what I said. What I said is that I welcomed the opportunity, I thanked you, and I forwarded to everyone that was in my bargaining. Supervisors are not in our bargaining. It was sent to principals and assistant principals. We have not changed our name because we have not been able to change our name because we're not bargaining yet. Supervisors used to be in. At the RIF, supervisors were no longer there, and we have directors. I did not send it to directors because they're not in our bargaining unit. I just want that on the record for everyone to hear. Thank you.
And Shelley, I had no interest in offending you. When I said that the Zoom meeting was refused, it wasn't asked for. In other words, I offered it. And
there's a difference between not asking for it and refusing, as though I had made a decision for my whole unit as to whether or not we would listen to a Zoom meeting that would provide us with information. That's talking
fair.
about my character, and I've worked very hard in this district. And to me, that was a little bit of a blow to my character to say that I refused something, which that I did not do. And I forwarded within less than a 24-hour period. It was a 3-hour turnaround. Quite frankly, I think that's pretty good because I thought it went to my
I agree
spam
with you.
account.
I agree.
And I try to forward information. So I let you know I did write Mr. Devlin wrote me a letter and I received a letter, but I was slightly offended by that letter because it talked a little bit about my character as far as saying what we refused, and that was not a truth. And I need my constituents to understand that that wasn't the clear truth. I did not refuse, and I forwarded it immediately in a timely fashion.
Nobody took me up on the request to have a Zoom meeting. If you were offended, I apologize because I took for a fact that when you forwarded that, and you did, just as you said, you forwarded it, that nobody called, no administrator called, no administrator requested the Zoom meeting. And so I took that as a refusal, not by you refusing it, but by any administrator asking to have more information.
But that formal letter didn't say that. It said, I refused. It said she refused, if you want to read that letter, and I did not refuse. And so I appreciate your public apology for not meaning to offend me. I do appreciate that, but I just want to make it clear that that's not what occurred exactly.
That's fair. Thank you.
Mhm.
And we didn't know a Zoom meeting was.
Thank you for the comment. Ms. Brown, do we have anybody else?